Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Now today, I'm going to talk about the concept of coming up with your own guitar parts. That is something that most worship guitar players want to do because it will give them an ability to express themselves at a greater level when they can come up with parts that are their own. Sometimes there's an intro that you need to play for the song or a well-known hook line or whatever the case may be, and you should totally play that so the congregation can hear those familiar lines. But for the rest of the song, you shouldn't copycat another guitarist's parts. Instead, you should develop your guitar skills like a voice to say what's on your heart. So if you can make that connection with your skills, allowing you to say what's in your heart when you play the guitar, that's going to really deepen the whole worship experience for yourself as well as the congregation. But of course, there's a problem, and the problem is you feel that you are stuck with not having the right skills, the right techniques, not knowing the right chords, and not knowing all of the scales and how to improvise and create parts on the fly. That is exactly what I'm going to show you how to fix today without having to use chords, without having to use scales, and just using very simple picking technique, coming up with one-note guitar parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just give you a demo over here by playing over a 1-4-6-5 and a 1-2-6-5 chord progression so that you can go ahead and just hear this in action, and then afterwards I'm going to come in and break this down and show you how I didn't use any scales, didn't use any chords, but I basically just focused on specific things which I'll cover in the breakdown. So let's go ahead, cut to the second cam over here, and let's go ahead and come up with some single note guitar parts so you can see what it looks like, hear what it sounds like, and afterwards we'll break it down. Here we go.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, so nothing to write home about specifically as it relates to those parts. I just wanted to keep it super simple just to show you how you can create a part that has got melody, follows the chords, and it still drives the song forward, and out of that you can go ahead and develop some really interesting sounding guitar parts. So how do you do that? Well, it's actually very simple. The first thing that you just need to understand is what the chords are that you are playing over. So let's go ahead and look at the chords. This progression, like I said, is a 1-4-6-5 progression. So I've got 1, 4, 6, and 5. And then for the second part, it was 1, 2, 6, 5. All right, so these are the natural numbers that we are we've used on the channel quite a lot. So we play that section twice and we play that section twice. So let's go ahead and just put a repeat in there. What does this mean? This just means I play D, G, B minor, and A. And then when we went to the second part, I played D, E minor, B minor, and then A. So those are my chords. Very importantly, when you play these kind of parts, it's important for you to understand what the chords are that you are playing so that you can make the right choices. Now, let's check out the chord tones, because when I say D, G, B minor, and A, those aren't just random notes. Each one of these chords actually contains 3 notes, which is what's known as a triad. We'll get back to the playing shortly. So that's D, F sharp, and A. That makes up my D major chord. G, B, and D gives me G major, B, D, and F sharp gives me B minor, and then A, C sharp, and E gives me A major. And then we had a 2 chord as well, which was E minor. And of course, the notes for E minor will be E, G, and B. So when you know what these notes are of a chord, then when you see D, G, B minor, and A, you can play any one of the notes. I'm going to show you how that works. D, E minor, B minor. That track is keen to get going again. We'll fire it up shortly. So there we go. Those are my chords that I can play. So when the progression says D major, like that, then you can play any one of these notes. You can play a D, you can play a F sharp, or you can play an A. Can you see how this is not specifically playing chord shapes? Number one. And number two, it's also not playing scales. So if I see a D chord, I can play a D note. I can also play an F sharp note, or I can play an A note, because those 3 notes together make up a D chord. When I see G, I could do the G note over here, I can do the B note over there, or the D note. So you basically just need to look at what the notes are within those chords, and then you can go ahead and pick and choose what you want to do. So what I'm going to do, just to show you that part that I played in the beginning. When we are looking at this, we are playing D. I played the note D right there. But then we can see when I played G, the note D is also in the note G major, and the note D is also in the B minor, and then C sharp is just 1 fret below that note. So that is what I did the first time I played this. I played D over the D major chord. I played D over the G major chord. I played D over the B minor chord, and then I played C sharp over the A chord. Let me just show you what that sounds like with a very basic strumming picking pattern on that progression, which is a 1-4-6-5.
Intro, 2, 3.
Play the D.
4.
Play the D for the G major. Right, so as you can see, I just picked one of those notes, and then I can say, okay, cool, I'm going to hang on that D note because it's actually part of all the chords. As you can see, it forms this little line. So D is in the G, it's in the B minor, and now let's go down 1 fret over there for the C sharp. So that is how you can actually have one note for all of these chords. Now let's go ahead and check out if I wanted to start on a different note. So if I wanted to start on the F sharp, I can do the F sharp further up the neck. I can do the G over the G chord. Then I can go to the F sharp again for the B minor chord. And then I can go to E for the A major chord. So if I'll play that same progression again, D, G, B minor, A, and then I'm going to play those notes that I've put those little squares around. Check this out.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
F sharp. G, F sharp over the B minor, E over the A. One more time. G, F sharp over the B minor. So what you've just seen me do there is basically I've got the chords, I know what the notes are within those chords, and then I can go ahead and then just play one of the notes within a chord. Sometimes the note stays the same, other times I can go ahead and just move 1 fret down or 1 fret up. That allows you to play guitar parts that doesn't require you to actually think about scales, doesn't require you to use a bunch of different chord shapes. You just need to know the chord tones, and then you pick one note and you go ahead and play that. Now, of course, I used some articulation, so instead of just playing D, I might just pick, pull, hammer into the D, or I might pick, hammer, pick That's known as phrasing and articulation. So I'm trying to have a specific phrase in the way that I pick the notes. And then I can do one of two things. I can actually just keep it simple, or I can add some additional notes that are within that area. So what I'm going to do is I'll play that for you again, and then I'm going to show you how I can go ahead and just use one note for all the chords. And then on the repeat, I'll do the same note, but I'll go ahead and add some notes to that. So let's go ahead and hear what that sounds like.
Intro, 2, 3.
Just one note on its own. Now I can add some notes. Now I can go higher. Just one note per chord. And now I can add some notes. And you can basically just carry on and continue like that by just finding kind of a home base, knowing what the chords are that you're playing over, then picking one of the 3 notes of a triad and then play around that. That's going to give you kind of a home base where you feel, hey, I'm up and riding, as if you're riding a bike and you're not falling over. You've got a note to pick out per chord. And then once you've got that going, you can go ahead and start adding some notes to the mix, because that is when you can kind of add lib for that matter. And you can just go ahead and find some notes that live in and around that. And for the D section, I started on a D, but then I went to the F sharp, which is in the chord. For the G, I started on the D again, and I went to the G note, which is part of the G chord. So that's the power of knowing chord tones. It's super useful to use in your playing, because that allows you to just get a better understanding of the neck. Therefore, you'll be able to compose your own guitar parts without having to worry about what scale should you use, what chord shape should you use, or whatever the case may be. And if you enjoyed this lesson, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're looking for tracks like the one that I've just used in different tempos, different progressions, and different keys, go ahead and check out the link in the description for our Worship Guitar Skills Practice Pack, which literally comes with hundreds of keys, different different progressions, different tempos, and different keys. That way you can go ahead and practice in a musical environment and go ahead and hunt those chord tones down and see how you can use that to go ahead and build some guitar parts, which is very much like playing Lego. You just find your parts and you start putting it together, and you know that they are going to fit because it's literally a note from the chord tones. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Check out the link in the description for the resource pack I just mentioned, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.